Alright, so we've got a silver Reinhardt player.
Do I have time for a currywurst?
Are you scared? Need someone to tuck you in?
Please don't start here. Please don't start here.
Welcome to
Roadhog, no.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
So, welcome to silver, I guess. First off, this is just a bad spot to be. I see sometimes Reinhardts will come into this room to try and get a cheeky fire strike off the start, but I mean, as soon as you fire strike, they have an Ana. A smart Ana is going to sleep you, and as soon as you start that fire strike animation, and then you are a sitting duck, and you're going to die because it's 1v6. Under no circumstance should you be starting the match right here. So right now, you're holding around the corner, which, given this is the right position, right, as Reinhardt, you kind of want to be hugging the corner like this, partly shielding, If you actually hold left click while you have your shield up, you can kind of use your mouse to look around and see things. But so that part of it is good. But where you are standing is absolutely terrible. Then your Roadhog is just, he's going to feed and die. I think Roadhog's trying to get a cheeky hook off this edge here. But, that's, you can't do anything about your Roadhog. So, in any case, what you should be doing is you should be playing way back here. Alright? You've got a Junkrat with you, you've got a Reaper with you. And so, what you, Roadhog, Ana, Junkrat should be doing, standing right back here by the car. Right? The reason being is because they are going to have to come down here anyway. And so this gives all kinds of room for Junkrat to just lob spam down there. Reaper is the only one I could see starting back here. If he was already here and kind of just waiting to engage, he could sneak out, kill a Squishy, and then just Wraith form back to your team. But as Reinhardt, you are the main tank. You need to be quarterbacking your team. You need to be controlling where the fight is. And right up here, I mean, look, you're by yourself. Right? You have nobody with you. You've got Mercy damage boosting the Ana for some reason. If anyone, Mercy should be damage boosting. Or in this case, you, pocketing you. Even if you do try and get a cheeky fire strike here, hit one or two people, the odds are, you're feeding at this point. You turn around and charge back, well, you still get hit with a sleep dart. All kinds of bad things can happen. You never want to start in a bad position. In higher ranks, you will be punished for it. You will be punished hard for it. Can't do something like this because you're not going to live. So set up here, right? This way, they are forced to come to you. They're forced to walk down this choke. The only flanking routes that they could possibly come, you can see them. Right? You can see where they're coming from, no matter where they come from. And you provide cover for your team. You've got all kinds of cover here. You've got access to health packs. This is the best spot, at least to start defending on this point. The other option is if you really do want to try and spawn stuff them, your entire team should be with you. Right, so if you're hugging this corner, you should have Junkrat right here, just spamming that door. Right, you could even have Reaper kind of hiding up here, waiting for somebody to get out of position. I still don't like Roadhog being over here. That's a tough hook to land, but in any case, there's nothing about that you can do. You, as Reinhardt, starting in bad spot. Yes, there's the cheeky fire strike. Yeah, Roadhog dies. You dies. So, that death was easily avoidable. Now, the rest of your team is dying because they don't have a main tank.
Not over.
Farah reporting.
Swing to the break, that's good. Nice pin. Defense up there. Woke you up. So I actually like that pin. In terms of when and how to use your charge, right out of spawn always, helps you get back to the fight faster. And then if you're going to use it in a fight, the big things you want to look for is it has to be, or you want it to be a short distance charge. It's just easier to land those. If you try to go for those long YOLO charges, the chances of you missing or for them being able to see that coming and dodge out of the way, like it's just a lot easier for them to dodge it. And then where you end up, you still want to be in a good position. And so generally speaking, you kind of want to do like this weird sideways charge where you don't push farther into the enemy team. But in this case, you're all fighting on point. I mean, you're going to die anyway. So doing that little charge there just to build some ult and secure one kill at least. And realistically, you're not really in much of a worse position. I mean, you could have just stood there and swung or hard shielded, but Reaper was on you. Like, there was no way you were surviving that. It was a good charge. Again, this losing fight shouldn't have happened, but it's because you started in a bad position. Your Roadhog started in a bad position. The only one who was in the right position was Junkrat. Reaper, acceptably. Anyway, I've already covered that. But yeah. Spawn, I like it. So, let's just go back and watch that charge again. So, when you charge like that, if you hold down space, at the end of your charge, you're going to do this little hop, and when you jump, your momentum will carry you forward, and it'll propel you forward an extra couple meters. It's a little thing, but it'll get you a little bit farther. So charge and hold down space if you are using charge to try and get somewhere faster, because it'll give you a little bit of extra distance. At this point, just back up. Yep, good call.
Stop the payload.
Oh, keep backing up. Keep backing up. Keep backing up. No one with you.
Time to raise my
Okay. So there you see and you recognize that point is lost and that there's nothing you can do to win it, and so you back out. Perfect. Good call. What you should do is go all the way back to your team. So right now, where you are, it is still a 1v6. You can hear the D.Va shooting, you heard the monkey jump, so you know they are close to you. They're right on top of you. I mean, you can't see that, but you can hear them. You know that they are close. And by yourself, those are fights that you don't really want to take. Because they both have escapes, and so they can just cleave into you. They can attack you from a distance away from your hammer. Without support, those are very, very difficult targets for you to fight on your own. So what you should do here is just walk back or charge back to your team, right? Get a full regroup going, because right now it is you, Junkrat, and Mercy. Right, the rest of your team, or I guess Farah too. But your Ball and your Anna are all the way back here. So even if you do get a soft reset here, you're still fighting 4v6, which is a losing fight. You know, you're not going to win that fight. You know, you always want to try and regroup and fight team fights as a full 6-person team. So yeah, you definitely want to charge all the way back here and just regroup back here, or even pull back here, right? And then you can re-engage through castle or something like that. You know, you want to get back with your team and get a full regroup and then re-engage 6v6. Because even fighting 5v6, you're not going to win that fight. The statistics are that whoever gets that first pick in a team fight, whoever starts that fight 6 versus 5, wins 80% of the time. Right? It's something like 82 or 83%. But, you know, these are the decisions that are going to get you out of silver. is learning how and when to stay alive. And so with that, you just have to play a little more conservatively, a little safer. Um, and that does mean at some point, recognizing that, all right, we have to give them a little bit of cart space, and they're going to push it a little bit. That's going to be fine, right? If you can re-engage as 6, because what's going to happen here is you go in and you die. Your Pharah, she's poking, which is fine. They don't really have anyone that can pressure her immediately, um, especially because she's got a Mercy flying to her, so she's going to stay alive. Junkrat can spam, which is fine, building ult. But the thing is that they are far away from the fight, right? So you're going to die. These guys might live so long as they just stay back and poke at a distance. And then your team's going to try and re-engage 5v6, right? And they're going to lose again. You're going to stagger yourselves, and it is going to be the snowball effect where you can't get a full regroup because you're just trickling in one by one, fighting these battles that you have no business trying to fight.
I will not give up the fight.
Yeah, again, so you just saw your entire team die. Anna, it looks like she jumped off and reset, which is the right play by your Anna's part. But your entire team is dead. At this point, just stop. Like, just don't even poke. Just sit here and wait, right? Most of your team is regrouping. Your Anna just died, so it'll take her a couple of seconds. But just stop here and wait for your entire team. Wait for a full regroup, and then push back in as a full team.
LOL.
You're not going to take a 1v6. Did Monkey just jump off there? I'm curious. I want to see this. Let's see. This is Monkey. Around charge and yeah, he just misses his shot. Good job, Monkey. But your Junkrat comes in with a huge ult, gets 2 picks, but again, your entire team's dead. How you actually survive that, I don't know. Well, your team's alive. Your team is red. That's gonna screw with me all game. Okay, so this is okay. So push forward to corner. Yep. All right. So there.
Hammer down!
Actually, looks like a pretty good shatter, but we'll get to there in a second. Let's talk about this. So right here, what are you shielding? You're shielding their Anna. The Anna can't do shit against your team. She's by herself. She's feeding. Your shield is almost at full health. It's at 1590 or something like that. Just drop it and let it recharge. Anna's aiming at your Roadhog. Let her do that, right? Let her get some trickle damage on you, because then you've got your Anna and your BAP healing your Roadhog. So it's building your support ultimates. Let her do that, right? There is no threat to your team. You do not need to be shielding here. With the recent shield nerfs, Reinhardt's shield is pretty weak, or comparatively weak, right? Shields in general are very weak, and so you have to be very careful as to how you manage your shield health. And, when you do start fighting those Rein versus Rein matchups, the Reinhardt that wins those matchups is the Reinhardt that manages their shield health better. And doing something like this is just poor shield management. Again, there is no real threat to your team. Anna's aiming at your Roadhog. Sure, you've got your own Anna, your own BAP here, but they've got cover, right? They can hide behind cards. They can hide behind this crenellation here. There's no danger to your team. You do not need to be shielding here. Right, and then you do walk forward to your shield up a little bit. And here, even, like, the Anna's gone. So there's no need for you to shield.
You're powered up.
Okay, so that was a good shatter. One thing I see a lot in low elo Reinhardts is that they hold on to shatter way too long. And you look here, they got 3 juicy targets. You've got shatter. Yep, go ahead, absolutely, good shatter. One thing I will say though, so
Hammer down!
Diva just, I don't know if she predicted that or if that was an accident, but yeah, she just boosted away from it. But what you should do here is before you charge, Fire Strike. The general combo with Reinhardt is you want to shatter, crouch, Fire Strike, and then walk forward, give a couple of swings, and then as they start to stand up, that is when you charge. Um, so breaking that down, as soon as you Fire Strike, or as soon as you shatter, you should Fire Strike. And your standard Fire Strike kind of has a downwards trajectory, right? So even if you're looking up, it will kind of go downwards at an angle like this, and you might be able to hit the Brigitte. But if you crouch and Fire Strike, your Fire Strike will have a more horizontal trajectory, and you'd be able to hit both Brig and Junkrat with your Fire Strike. Which is an extra 100 damage on another target. It'll help you secure more kills, right? And then walk forward, give a couple of swings, and then so while excuse me, so while they are shattered, you cannot build your shatter again. Like you do not build alt charge. However, when the shatter ends and they start to stand up, you will start to build alt charge again. So that's why you want to charge at the end when they start to stand up. So if you walk forward, you swing, you do 75 damage per swing. So a Fire Strike, 2 swings, you kill this Brig. Right? And then you charge, you hit this Junkrat as he's standing up, and by the time you pin him, Shatter will have completely ended. And so you will kill the Junkrat, and you will build yourself, I think it's 16 or 15% alt charge from a charge. And it's one of those things that yeah, you should start working on is just kind of the timing and the pattern to these shatters. When you charge right off the start, sure, you pin this Brig, but what's going to happen is this Junkrat's going to get booped out of the way. And so in the future, when you do shatter, if you have a Junkrat or a Reaper or really anybody on your team who's trying to combo with you and you charge through, you pin one target and all your other shatter targets are just going to get booped off and fly in different directions. It's going to mess up their ultimates, it's going to mess up their combos, it's going to push them farther away, and you're actually going to secure fewer kills. So that's why you always want to charge at the end. And then again, this also was a little bit of a risky charge because you are pushing yourself away from your team. But because it's a shatter, because there's only 3 people here, it's fine. Because your Ana is with you, it's fine.
Go. You're powered up.
Jump right
Get
down
in
the
there.
boots. Okay, so little things there. There's a little bit of Reinhardt tech called with a Fire Strike animation cancel. And so basically what that means is you can swing and then immediately use your Fire Strike, and it will animation cancel your swing and immediately go into your Fire Strike. So basically what that means is instead of doing the full swing arc, as soon as you hear that thwack or as soon as you see those hit markers, immediately press E or whatever you have your Fire Strike key bound to, and it will stop your swing animation like midway through. It will still count the damage that you hit, and it'll immediately go into your Fire Strike. And so it'll be 175 damage of burst damage, and it's really quick. And you probably could have used that to secure the kill on this monkey here because he was already pretty low health. But backing out was not the wrong play. Diva did kill 2 of your team. You've got a Reaper that's kind of pushing your back line. Well, I don't think you can see that. It's kind of attacking your hog. But what I would have done here is, as you're getting low on health, charge here and just grab this health back. It's 250 health. Their Winston can't jump you. You can shield away the diva damage, and it'll just help you live a little bit longer, considering that um, your Anna is down and your Baptiste looks like he's going to die pretty quick. Don't be afraid to use health packs. Should have gotten the health pack. Your healers are dead.
It's a good thing I brought an
So again, that's one of those situations where you need to recognize that the fight is lost, and you should just back up to spawn, back up to your team, go find a health pack. Yeah, so this is what I mean, where you get that weird snowball effect, and your entire team is just trickling and staggering in and taking these odd amount of fights that you're just not going to win. So now you've got 3 people alive and 3 people dead. Just stop. Tell your team to regroup. Just stop here. Don't push in around corner. Don't shield against a Winston, because his... Let's back it up a little bit. So, first thing, again, no, you do not want to push in against that. Like, even if you guys just sit and spawn, that is the safest thing to do. Is just sit and spawn and wait for your entire team to regroup. You do not always have to be contesting cart, right? It's okay to give them cart space. It's okay to give them a little bit of ground if it means you can regroup and re-engage as a full team. Because again, as I explained before, when you keep on fighting these battles where you're down 2, down 3 players, you're never going to win these. It is just, unless somebody gets this huge ult combo off, or somebody just pops off. Like, it is a very rare situation in which you would win one of these fights. Just hang back, give them a little bit of space, and re-engage as a team. Proceeding forward here. So you're blocking micro missiles, which is good. That's good damage to block. And then Monkey comes at you and cleaves at you. So Monkey's Tesla cannon goes through your shield. So there's really no use to be shielding against a Winston unless there is more damage incoming. So right here, there is a diva there, right? But you've got Anna and Baptiste focused on healing you. So really, this diva should be looking at these guys here, not you. But because you're being healed by both your supports, and because Winston does cleave damage through your shield, just drop your shield and swing into him. Tried it for a charge, so that one would have been a bit of a risky charge. Let's actually talk about it. So...
check in.
Get behind!
Okay, so why would this be a risky charge? So, one thing, it's a short distance charge, right? It's unlucky that they got booped out of your way because they weren't right in the center of your charge box, but that's okay. But look where your charge is going. It's going this way, right? So when you pin them, you're either going to hit this pillar, or you're going to end up like over here. And all the while, their entire team is going to be able to shoot you in the back, right? Now, if you wanted to turn and charge him this way, that's something different, right? If, they had decided to jump on your healers, then yeah, you know what? You could turn and charge him this way, because at least you are turning and charging back into your own team. When you get out of your charge animation here, you turn around and you shield, you're split off from your team. If you turn back and charge this way, you turn around and shield, you're still with your team. You're still playing as a team, right? So charging this way, very risky. Even if you do land the kill, chances are you won't survive it. what stunned you there.
Healing in now. Its destination.
So that one's a tough one. So what I do like about that is I like that instead of trying to shield the Diva Bomb, you went and found cover. However, the other issue is that because you did that, your Brig and, or not your Brig, your BAP and your Roadhog died. So Roadhog can survive Diva Bomb if he has to take a breather, and he's at full health. Baptiste has Immortality Field. If he had it off cooldown, he could have used Immortality Field and survived it. Or as soon as Diva launched her bomb, he could have like jumped up and tried to hide around a corner, something like that. But I mean, being right here, there's not a lot of spots for either of them to go around and hide around a corner. So I would have been okay if you had stood there and tried to shield the Diva Bomb. It would have destroyed your shield, but you would have protected your team from dying. The trade-off means that as soon as that happens, when you have no shield, you suddenly have to play aggro. But 9 times out of 10, if there's a Diva Bomb, do what you did there. Just try and find some cover, break line of sight with it. It's definitely the safest Okay. So, that is a bad charge, for the reasons I explained before. So sure, you know what, I would classify that as a short distance charge, right? You're charging right into a group of people. Chances are you're going to pin somebody, which is fine. But look where you ended up. You are in the middle of nowhere, right in the middle of the enemy team. You got antied, so the nano boost healing didn't apply. You landed a decent shatter, but there is no one left alive to follow up on it. And Monkey has very smartly, whether on purpose or by accident, has placed his bubble between your only healer and you. So you are antied in the middle of their back line and have no way to heal, and you kind of wasted shatter because there is no one who was there to follow up on it. Again, it was a good shatter, you hit 2 people with it, but again, there's no one who can come with you, there's no one who can follow up with it.
You're powered up. Get in there.
So you're gonna try to keep you alive there, but because you were antied, Nano's healing doesn't apply.
I will not give up the fight.
Round 1. Complete.
Alright, so the biggest thing to take away from that first round is that you play very, very aggro, which is fine.
0 to 3.
The trade-off there is that if you're going to play aggro Rein, you have to do so as a full 6-man squad, right? You cannot go in 3v6, 4v6, even 5v6. You have to fight as a full team. And so, this kind of was a snowball loss, because right at the start, you and Roadhog were in a very bad position, right? And you got punished for it. And there was nothing any of your team, there was nothing your TPS, there was nothing your healers, there was nothing anyone could have done to save you guys. And then from there, you and your team just did not ever get a full regroup. You never got back together as a team, you never re-engaged as a full 6-man squad.
Trouble, I'll bail you out.
And so,
Attack
one of the things that,
commences in
the
30
biggest thing
seconds.
that I tell lower elo players, those are gold, silver, bronze, if you want to get out of those ranks, stop dying. Right? And I know that sounds kind of like a forehead move, like, oh, well, it's obvious, But if you think about it, you have infinitely more value to your team when you are alive than when you are dead. And sometimes, yes, that does mean you give them space. It does mean that you're forced to give up room, you're forced to give them heart percentage, or whatever it is. But in the long run, it is the better play, because you stay alive and you regroup with your team and you re-engage as a full 6-person team instead of trying to take these odd man fights that you're just never going to win. The other thing that I noticed is you take some pretty risky charges. So that's definitely something you need to think about is when you charge, you want it to be a short distance charge. Don't go for those long distance ones, which I haven't seen you do yet. But two, you have to think about where your charge is going to leave you. If it leaves you in the enemy's backline, that is a very bad charge because you are going to die. If you do this a sideways charge where you're still kind of in with your team, that is fine. If you do a backwards charge where you push an enemy target into your backline, that is like the best kind of charge there is. But the biggest thing is just play a little bit safer. Recognize when a fight is lost and back out. Don't take on meta fights.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commencing. Capture objective A.
Get behind!
It's just okay. So
Get
I just want to slow this down because you can hear the Reaper on the right. I just want to see what exactly happens there. So you can hear their Reaper on the right. You don't even turn to look at him. Well, that was a good play by your Lucio. Lucio is one of the best Reaper counters in the game because he can use his boop just to push Reaper away from the fight. And, Reaper needs to be up close and personal to do all that damage. Doomfist punish the Reaper in a bad position. So, remember how I said at the start of the game your Reaper was the only one in good position? Well, this is where he should have been hiding, which is what their Reaper was doing, which is fine. The only issue is that this Reaper engaged a little too early. If this Reaper had waited until you guys were pushing choke and then engaged, he could have, like, one-hit their Ana and just used teleport or Wraith form to get back to his team, and you guys would have lost that fight. But in any case, you now have a pick. You were now fighting 5v6. Now you guys should be playing aggro. You should take this opportunity to push in.
Barrier won't hold forever!
So, when you're Reinhardt playing against a Bastion, you want a Bastion melts through your shield, right? So you have to be very careful about when and how you use your shield. And so right here, what you could have done is you could have just line of sighted the Bastion, right? You could have pushed this way and just hugged this wall, and Bastion wouldn't have been able to see it. Or you could have shielded across to here, right? Got your team in here, let your shield recharge, and then you could push in against this Bastion. Again, just trying to keep line of sight on the Bastion so he has as few bullets to pump into your shield as possible. And that way, when you do need it, when you do need your shield to block, have it. Again, playing with against a Bastion as Rein is difficult because there isn't a whole lot that you can do. I say that there is, but you have to be very careful as to how you manage your shield, right? And you have to be very smart about when you use it. So the optimal play here, you've got two options. Bastion set up way back here. Bastion is in a very good spot, right? You have Doomfist and Reaper. So what I would be doing is waiting for your Doomfist and Reaper to engage. So the optimal play here be to have your Doomfist and Reaper kind of dive the Bastion. When they dive, that is when you hard shield and you push in. And ideally, you want to push left, right? As soon as you can, you want to walk this way, this building. That way you minimize Bastion's line of sight, you minimize the damage he can put into you. And if Reaper teleports back here, this little blue dot here, that is Bastion's critical hitbox when he's in turret form. And Reaper can 2-hit or 3-shot Bastion in this form by shooting at this little blue box. Doomfist's combo can't really move Bastion out of the way, but it can still do a significant amount of damage. And so if Doomfist lands and Reaper shoots, their Bastion's going to get melted pretty quickly, especially because I have no idea where their supports are. They're They're running Lucio Brig, right? So they have no one really babysitting the Bastion. Other option is to try and focus down Ryan's shield, and you've got Anna here. Have Anna sleep the Bastion, and you use that as your opportunity to push in. So with your team comp, actually, you've got a decent amount of counters to Bastion. The only thing I would change, I think, would be Roadhog. I would go Diva instead, just because Diva can absorb all that damage. But you've got Lucio, which is good because he can speed you in through choke. You've got Reaper, you've got Doomfist, both of whom can just delete Bastion. Anna can sleep him. Like, you've got a good team comp against a Bastion. It's just whether or not coordinated enough to do anything about it. Okay. So there, your Doomfist got a pick on their Lucio, which is huge. Your Reaper made the right play. Your Reaper tried to get in the back line and attack this Bastion, right? It's unfortunate that your Reaper died because, the Bastion probably saw him coming, or Reaper teleported, like, right in front of the Bastion. So I actually kind of want to go back to see what happened there. Let's see. Reaper teleport to the left, go around, kill Bastion. Teleport, kill Bastion, teleport, kill Bastion. So they saw your Reaper, they got Brig and Zarya on him. Your Reaper had the right idea, his execution was just poor. But, your Doomfist picked off the Reaper and their Lucio. So right now you're still fighting a 5v4. Still absolutely push in with this. Right? Have the numbers advantage. And the spawn advantage. Good fire strike. Push in. Good counter charge. Okay, so there you were kind of playing back and hard shielding when your Lucio and your Hog are already up in their face. So you should definitely be pushing W and walking in with your other tank. But that was a good counter charge. So in this Rein v Rein matchup, when the other Rein charges, you want to hold off your counter charge until the last possible minute, which you did here, which is good. Right? So when you counter charged him, you guys both cancel out, but look where he is. He is now in a much worse position than you are. You are with your team, you've got support, you've got Roadhog. Look where he is. He is kind of right in your face. He's got Roadhog behind him. You want to hold off on your counter charge as long as possible, just like you did there. That was good. See there, that was a fire strike animation cancel. It was good, and you secured the kill. So right there, you are hard shielding nothing. Let's just slow it down a little bit. Yeah. So I understand what you're doing here. You're trying to protect your team as you push left, which is a good play. You've got your Lucio with you. Your Anna's desperately trying to keep your Roadhog alive. But you've got your shield up and you are not protecting anything. The enemy team is not shooting at you. They're all focused on killing your Roadhog, and unfortunately, he is going to die. You are now fighting a 3v3. So you have to be a little bit more careful. Their Reaper's back. Some of their team is going to start respawning. And so you have to play a little bit slow here. And by that, I mean you have spawn advantage. Your team gets back faster than their team does. And because you're even, what you can do is you can just wait just a little bit, wait a couple of seconds for some of your team to get back. You have a Doomfist and a Reaper, 2 DPS that have abilities that allow them to get back to the fight very quickly. So if you just hold off and wait 5 seconds to engage, your Doomfist and Reaper or your Reaper is going to be back with you. Your Doomfist will be respawned and will be able to re-engage in the fight with you. But if you wait a couple seconds, it's kind of like a soft reset, a soft regroup that will just allow you to push back in with one extra teammate, right? And take that 4v3 fight instead of a 3. now the fight's lost.
On me.
So you guys should not have lost that fight. A lot happened there, a lot went
This is
wrong
not over.
in terms of what you could have done there to try and win that fight. When Roadhog and Lucio pushed in, you were still kind of in the choke hard shielding. You should have just walked in with them. You kind of backed off a little bit there after killing the Rein. Just push W with your team. Always play with your team. There's the saying where one person doing something stupid is a mistake, 6 people doing something stupid is a strategy. So whether or not it's a good idea to just walk into the enemy team, which it is a good idea, but play with your team is what I'm trying to say. You know, and as the main tank, you are kind of the quarterback of your team. You should be vocal in team chat, telling your team, you know, this is what I want to do, work with me.
Огонь по готовности! Administered.
I am unstoppable.
That was not a good use of nano. Alright, questionable use of nano, but it seemed to have worked out. Good pin on the Reaper. Again, it was a low percentage charge. It was a bad charge, not something I would have done. I would have probably just tried to hard shield that ult, because you ended in a bad spot and you did die. But you guys seem to be winning the fight at least. Again, you're hard shielding nothing. Still hard shielding nothing. Swing on that Lucio. So you spend a lot of time here and you're shielding. What are you shielding? There's no damage incoming. You know, when that Lucio comes into your face, you can kill Lucio in 3 swings. Or 2 swings if you use your Fire Strike animation cancel. When he walks up into your face like that, just swing on him. Sure, you're caught in a trap, but you know, their Lucio made the mistake of just walking right up to you. And your Reaper could have ulted something else. Your Lucio is a little bit in trouble here, trying to face off against a Brig. Should just back out of that fight. Roadhog's taking a 1v1 versus Reaper. That's actually a close fight. Hog can win that 1v1, he just has to land the hook. So again. Shatter this. Nice, good shatter. Again, you know, when you do that shatter, when you shatter like that, Fire Strike first, couple of swings, and then charge. And if you had done that, you would have killed the Brig. Easily. And you know, you might not have killed anyone else, but if you kill an ulting Brig, that is 100% worth the trade-off. Solo shattering, or you didn't solo shatter there, but if you solo shatter an ulting Brig and you manage to kill her before her ult gives armor to her entire team, that is 100% worth the trade-off. That is a good ultimate trade. But you failed to secure the kill, Rally did its work, kept their team alive, and you guys ended up losing this fight.
There is still more to my tale!
What a charge. Okay.
I feel like a new man!
So, you probably know what I'm going to say. That was a bad charge. So this is a yellow charge, right? Where you charge in to all 6 of the enemy team. So they are respawned, they are all there. Your team is still walking out of spawn, right? So even if you did manage to land a pin, even if you did hit this Zarya or hit this Roadhog and you pin them, even if you did land this pin here, you know, you have no support, you have no one who can follow up with you. You don't have a Diva that can come with you and absorb damage. You don't have a Zarya that can bubble you. You have no one to support you. You know, your Ana's walking out of spawn. Your Lucio can come with you and desperately try to keep you alive, but his heals are shit, so the best thing that your Lucio can try to do is speed boost you out of there. Which low elo Bastion or Lucios aren't going to do. And it looks like he is amping up right now. So he is amping heals for some reason. Yeah. Right, and then your charge, you kind of take a weird bounce off the wall, and you almost charge off the edge of the map here. But you are now a flanking Reinhardt in your backline. Let's see what you do with it. Oh, Lucio knows you're here, though. Swing on that Lucio. Animation cancel. Swing, 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 swing. You can kill him. Yeah, if you didn't shield there, you probably could have killed that Lucio. So rule of thumb is Reinhardt, when you have armor, so you know that little yellow bit on your health pack, or on your health bar, swing away. You know, armor has damage reduction qualities. Lucio doesn't do a lot of damage. Lucio can't do a lot of damage against armor. So if you have armor still, just swing. Right? Absolutely just swing. It's when you drop down, it's when you lose that armor, and you drop down to your actual health bar. So 300 health or less, that's when you can start to shield and back up. But if you still have armor, keep on swinging. That's rough.
60 seconds.
So Fire Strike can one-hit a tire, but I think you didn't have it on cooldown, so that's rough.
Get behind me.
Yeah, you're Reaper spamming group up, which is the right play. You back up, which is good.
30 seconds.
Wasting shield, you're... So to start there, let's back up. So your Reaper is telling your team to group up, which is good. Your team is not all back yet. You know, you're still waiting on Lucio to get out of spawn. And right here, so what you should be doing is you should just be hiding around a corner, right? Because you're wasting your most valuable resource, which is your shield. And so just hide around corner here. Just wait until your entire team's ready to go, and then walk forward and shield. Another thing you can do is shield hop, where basically you jump, shield, and walk forward, jump, and shield, all kind of in the same motion. And basically what that means is when you walk forward and jump, and then you shield while you're in the air, kind of keep the same movement speed you do as when you're just walking without shield. It's just a way that you can move forward and backward with your shield faster. I haven't seen you do that yet, but it's kind of tough to explain. But basically, yeah, W space shield, and then when you land, you drop your shield, walk forward, space, shield. And so you do have to drop your shield, but you drop it for just a split second to push W to push your momentum forward as you jump. But it'll just let you walk in a little quicker. So right here, your shield's about half health, and then you just decide to yellow charge in. And then you get focused down into nothing because it's, again, just a bad charge.
There is still more to my tale.
Pushing the ball, that's good.
10 seconds.
Grapple, grapple. So when you're wrecking ball, you know, you're coming out of spawn, you grapple there too. As you get around this corner with ball, you can grapple this corner here, and you can just slingshot yourself around, and you're going to burst yourself through this choke. And by the time you get to about here, your hook should be off cooldown again, so you can use it again and slingshot yourself onto point. Especially when you're in low time like this, you want to try and get to point as quickly as possible. So it's you have the right idea. You know, you switch to ball to get there quickly, and you know you're using your grapple. It's just one of those little things that you can get there a little faster. Slam to point though.
Defeat.
So tough game. You kind of got rolled there. The biggest thing I can tell you is that you die way too often. And the reason you die too often is you are just in poor position. You are playing too aggro when you don't have your team with you, when you don't have support. Um, Keep in mind that it is 100% okay to back off and give them some space if you can re-engage as a full team. Um, that is the biggest thing. If you start playing a little bit safer and you recognize when a team fight is lost, back up with the rest of your team, wait for a regroup, push back in. If you do that, you will die less and you will start to climb. The second thing is stop YOLO charging into the entirety of the enemy team. You died a couple of times there because you just YOLO charged into the whole team. If you didn't do that, you would have stayed alive. And the third thing is, as I said, your little shatter combo. So shatter, crouch, fire strike, then walk forward and swing a couple times, and then as they start to stand up, that's when you charge. Other than that, some good things about this is that you're playing aggro Rein, which is good. I like to see that, especially in the lower ranks. An aggressive Reinhardt can hard carry fights. You're pushing W through choke, which is good. Although sometimes you're pushing shift through choke, which is not what you want to be doing. But the fact that you are creating space for your team is good, right? You are pushing W, you are pushing into your team, into their team, and you are giving space for your team, for DPS, for your healers, for everybody. So that's good to see. Um, Yeah, just focus on playing a little bit more passively, and I think you'll start to climb. Good luck.